Hello and welcome. My name's Kateri, also known as Phenoxis. I am a professional tarot reader and I'm here to show you my tarot collection. I do have a special deck right here. This is the Tarot by the Neon Light by Chain Assembly. This is a pre-release copy that I received in exchange for a review. The campaign will launch on Kickstarter on October 2nd, 2022 at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, Tarot by the Neon Light is a minimalist Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck inspired by seedy motels, discount diners, and the unscrupulous travels of Americana. Now, I got really excited when it came in and I ripped it open and I realized I maybe shouldn't have, so I kind of wrapped it back up, but we do have Chain Assembly sticker here. I'm just going to get right into this deck because that's what you're here for. So, just packed it up quite nicely before I gave it a little rip there. We have the deck. So, where this is a pre-release review, this is going to be just the cards itself. As it says right here, thank you for taking the time to review my latest divination project, Tarot by the Neon Light. Each card is a minimalist simulacrum of its Rider-Waite counterpart, bent towards the dark, anachronistic feel of vintage Americana. So they say right here to please note that this review copy is only intended to show the illustrations and share the overall emotional themes that they bring. The final production quality and card count will be determined by the success of the Kickstarter and the stretch goals. Alright, so let's go first off on the back of these cards. So I'm not going to be discussing the card quality, again, just strictly because it can and possibly will change with the Kickstarter. So we're just going to strictly look at the illustrations here on the cards. So we do have this really fun reversible background here. We do have the moon in the center, and I love that color. So that color scheme is very, it's twilight, it's a little scrummy. As we have here, it's like almost like a back road. So when it comes to Americana, I am personally Canadian. I am familiar enough with this type of kind of feel industry per se, where it's that nightlife, it's a little grimy, it's like the casinos, it's the red light district, it's tarot reading. That's the one thing that I find a lot of people kind of forget about tarot, is that it had many different kind of genres throughout the years. First, tarot kind of started off very esoteric, and then it really kind of pulled into almost seedy motels type of thing, where you'd have those 1-900 hotlines that'd be late at night that you'd have the tarot readers. So I really enjoy the idea of this deck because it really is a snapshot in time of the tarot reading being those fortune tellers that are on that kind of like Vegas Strip type attitude. It's really fun, and I'm really kind of excited to show off this deck. Alright, so we'll get into it, but thank you again, Chain Assembly, for sending me this deck. It is so appreciated, and I will cherish it. So we're just going to get right into the flip through. So, thoughts. There's a lot to love about this deck. Right off the bat, the consistency when it comes to the creative design of this deck is off the wall. Every one of these pieces I could see being a real neon sign, and I could definitely see it being posted on the window of some sort of seedy motel or casino or red light district or psychics, which is the one thing that this really kind of reminds me of, is those seedy psychics, which honestly a lot of people don't want to really recognize when it comes to the industry of tarot and psychic readings and all that. And one thing that I actually enjoy is the history of tarot, and not just the esoteric side of it, but the popular culture side of it. I'm sure we're all familiar with the 1-900 psychics that we used to see on television that were paid actors that you would call in, you would wait on hold for like an hour, you get like a 5-minute reading from somebody who knows jack all about tarot, who was not the actor that was on the screen, even though you were guaranteed to get them, and your phone bill would end up being $400. This is a part of tarot history, is that kind of seedy, again, underground, off the beaten path. Those are those shops that you're on the road, you're getting from one city to another, you have to drive there, you decide to stop overnight at this little off the highway town where it has a lot of truckers, a lot of things that are for people just staying there for the night and then leaving, if you're picking up what I'm laying down. And this is definitely a homage to that, and I love it because, again, there is a history specifically with tarot as well that kind of goes into this that is not necessarily in, again, the red light trade or the casino trade, but there is definitely a level of scamming that came with tarot reading and still does for people who are gross and nasty. I just read an article about a trio of Las Vegas psychics who scammed a lawyer out of $1 million because they would do a reading, they would entice people in with really cheap readings, and then before you know it, they are getting charged $500 or $600 because they have to be cleansed or something of the sort. And there's a sucker born every minute at the end of the day, and there is going to be people who are going to use tarot for that. And I think that this is a very much so tongue-in-cheek kind of homage to that, because nowadays tarot is obviously recognized for the tool that it is, and tarot is only good as the practitioner or the reader or the cardmancer who is reading the cards. But I do love the fact that, again, at one point, especially in the 90s and the 2000s, that tarot was kind of considered a little, for lack of a better term, just a little seedy at one point. And for me, I like the mystery when it comes to being a tarot reader. I do really appreciate and love the mainstream aspect of tarot, but I love, again, the way this deck does invoke that kind of really fun, shouldn't be here. If a deck could smell like something, I'm sure this would smell like cigarettes and vodka. Cheap vodka, not even the good stuff. And I love it. Where would I use this deck? Definitely at like parties. If we were doing some sort of stag party, something of the sort, or a bachelorette party, this would be the deck that would come out. Because if it is one of those type of parties where everybody's really rowdy, this would be a huge hit. Absolutely. Not only that, I think that this is a very specific art style that, in its minimalistic style, it's very impactful on the story that is trying to tell. When we see certain cards, we see a chapel, a 24-hour law office. There's just a lot of things here, like a pharmacy. There's just a lot of different things here that I can make my imagination go wild. Like, what shop would these signs be on? Would this be a veterinarian office? Would this be like your grandma that you don't care about died and now you just want to throw her in a hole? Is it that type of funeral home? Like, everything here is so fun. And again, it does really, like, that would be like a late night boxing like club. I'm really excited to kind of go through all of this and see what stories I can come up with, because with something this simple, we all know what this would be, but this is so simple, but it does speak so much. And I'm really excited to take the time with it, study it, and again, come up with what facility would have this type of sign. Would this be like the Lobster Place? Would this be a casino? Would this be a hospital? And that's where this is fun. So fun. Can't say enough. Thank you so much for watching this. Again, the Kickstarter campaign is going to be starting on October 2nd, 2022 at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please kickstart this deck. You would not be disappointed. Thank you, take care, and remember your power.